Want to create your very first iOS app, but not sure where to start? Well, you're in the right place. Let's get started. In this tutorial, we'll start to add the particles functionality. So the first function that we will add is called add particles, and we add that after lines 299. Private func add particles at x cg float y cg float. The next thing we need to do is to create a loop between 0 and 10. And the purpose of this loop is to create the particle effects 10 times. So to create the particle effect within the loop, we have to create a new instance of the particle class. So we need to pass CG point and the coordinates x and y. Which is the position of the particles. We also need to set the velocity, which is width and height. So that will be CG floats dot random in minus 2 dot dot to 2. There should be 3 dots there. And then the height is also CG float dot random in minus 2 dot dot 3 dots to 2. And what we're doing here, we're setting the random velocity within a range for both x and y directions. and the size will be cgfloat.random in 5 ... 10, and that sets the random size for the particles between 5 and 10. And then we just set the color, which is white, and the opacity, which is 1.0. The next thing we need to do is to add that particle instance to our particles array. It should be particles.append particle. Just compile it. Want to build your own Connect4 app? Now you can. Download the free source code and start building today. The link is in the description below. And now we need to go back to call our particle method, which is here on line 270. Add particles, bricks. So we pass the array of positions to our particle function. And we also pass the mid-y position array to our particles function. And that should be mid-x with a capital X. So the next function we need to implement is called update power up and particles. Private func update power ups and particles. For I in power ups dot indices where power ups is active within the array. power up, position dot y plus equals to 2, which will move the power up downwards if paddle dot position contains power up position then you need to create another function called active or activate power up. You'll create that function later. And then power ups, open bracket, I close bracket, is active, is equal to false. So what that will do when we implement the function, it will activate the power up if it touches the paddle, but we need to create the function activate power up, which we'll do like later or in another tutorial. Next thing we need to do is to update the particle effect. For I in particles dot indices particles dot position dot x plus equals particles dot velocity dot width, which will move particles horizontally to help upgrade my equipment. I'm aiming for a new MacBook Pro, which costs £4,000, to improve video editing and audio quality for better tutorials. If you'd like to support, the link is in the description. Thank you so much. And to move the particles vertically, we need to do something similar. We can just copy line 307, change it to Y for the position. Velocity should be dot height. And then to decrease the particle opacity over time, we just type in dot opacity minus equals 0.02, and then to remove particles that are no longer needed, we just call the remove method of the array, or remove all method. $0, opacity is less or equal to 0. and that will remove particles that are no longer visible. So now we can call the new method on lines 293. Let's call it here. I'll just compile it. Just compiling at the moment. In the next tutorial, we will create the activate power up function. Thank you for joining us. If you found this tutorial helpful, please comment, like and subscribe. See you next week.